Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're building a complete care guide for a truly spectacular addition to your indoor jungle or outdoor landscape, the architecturally striking foxtail fern. If you've ever marveled at those dense, upright plumes of bright green, fluffy foliage, the ones that look literally like little foxtails, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to break down everything you need to make this beauty absolutely thrive. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of the care routine, I've got to let you in on a major botanical secret. Is a foxtail fern actually a fern? No way. It's a total imposter. Seriously, despite those fluffy fronds and, the name itself, it's completely tricked the houseplant community. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our agenda to unmask this imposter and master its care. Number 1, meet the faux fern. 2, light and water essentials. 3, soil and environment needs. 4, troubleshooting common problems. And finally, 5, long-term growth pro tips.
Section 1. Meet the faux fern, an asparagus in disguise.
So, native to the coastal regions of South Africa, this plant is actually a member of the asparagus family. Crazy, right? And this perfectly highlights just how unique it really is. Those fluffy, needle-like plumes that we all love so much, they aren't actually leaves at all. They're called chlorophylls. Basically, they're modified stems that have adapted over time to mimic the appearance and function of leaves. It's just a brilliant evolutionary disguise. Now, why does this matter to you as a plant parent? Well, let's compare them. True ferns, think like your classic Boston fern, reproduce via spores, demand constant heavy moisture, and have these really delicate fine root systems. But our foxtail fern, being an asparagus relative, it reproduces via flowers and seeds. It's incredibly drought-tolerant once it's established, and it has thick, fleshy, tuberous roots literally built to store water. Basically, if you treat this guy like a standard, moisture-loving house fern, you're almost certainly going to kill it.
All right, Section 2, light and water essentials, building the foundation.
First up is lighting. To keep those chlorophylls dense and vibrant, this plant thrives in bright, indirect light to partial sun. If you've got it indoors, sticking it near an east-facing window where it can catch that gentle morning sun is absolutely perfect. You want to avoid intense afternoon sun because that's going to give it scorched, crispy brown tips. But on the flip side, too little light means the stems will stretch out, get super sparse, and you'll end up with a very leggy, sad-looking plant. Now for watering. The big takeaway here is avoiding a universal plant parent nightmare, causing root rot in a drought-tolerant plant. Because of those fleshy, water-storing roots we just talked about, you really have to let the top 1 to 2 inches of soil dry out completely before you even think about watering. When you do water, soak it thoroughly until it pours from the bottom drainage. And then, this is absolutely crucial, always discard that excess water from the saucer. Never let it sit in a puddle. Oh, and naturally, you're going to want to dial back how often you water during those cooler, dormant winter months. Moving on to Section 3, soil and environment needs, the perfect climate recipe. So while foxtail ferns are pretty tough and will totally tolerate your average home's humidity, you really want to aim for that 40 to 60% humidity range. Hitting a 50% target is basically the sweet spot. You can easily achieve this moderate humidity through some light misting or just by putting the pot on a pebble tray filled with water. Doing this keeps the foliage incredibly vibrant and stops those needle tips from drying out. As for temperature, just keep the numbers 65 to 75 in mind. That's Fahrenheit, by the way. Thanks to its mild South African coastal origins, it absolutely loves moderate daytime temperatures. So you'll definitely want to keep it away from cold winter drafts near your windows, and definitely keep it far away from any blasting heating vents. Now let's talk about the physical foundation, the soil. Drainage is literally everything here to protect those tuberous roots from rotting. Here's a foolproof DIY container mix for you. Go with 2 parts standard potting soil, mix in 1 part perlite or coarse sand to guarantee that the water flushes through quickly, and finish it off with 1 part compost or well-rotted manure for a nice gentle nutrient boost. This gives you a slightly acidic to neutral, well-draining mix that perfectly accommodates their unique root system. Section 4. Troubleshooting common problems, becoming a plant doctor. Now what's really interesting here is how the plant's greatest feature, its incredibly dense, fluffy foliage, actually acts like a fortress for sap-sucking pests. Spider mites, for instance, they love dry indoor air and will build these fine little webs right between the needles. Mealybugs? Super sneaky. They look like white, cottony fluff hiding deep at the very base of the stems where they are really hard to spot.
and whiteflies will literally fly up in a tiny cloud if you just shake the plant. Because the foliage is so thick, using systemic soil treatments is often way more effective than topical sprays that just can't penetrate all that density.
If it's not a bug, well, it's almost certainly a watering issue. Here's how to quickly tell the difference between giving it too much love and too little water. If you're overwatering, you'll start to see yellowing on the lower fronds, the stems down at the base will actually feel mushy, and the soil might honestly smell pretty foul because the roots are actively rotting. On the flip side, underwatering is going to show up as browning or crispy foliage tips. Sometimes an entire frond will just turn completely dry and shed its needles everywhere. And a quick but super important warning while we're playing Plant Doctor. If your foxtail fern is really happy, it might actually produce these small white flowers in the summer, which are then followed by bright red berries. Now, while they look gorgeous, those berries are highly toxic to humans and pets if ingested. They can cause a pretty bad stomach upset, so please be sure to keep them well out of reach of curious cats, dogs, and kids.
All right, final section. Section 5. Long-term growth pro tips, ensuring a decade of fluff.
10. That is the number of years, often 10 plus years actually, that this striking evergreen perennial can easily thrive in your home or garden if you stick to this complete care guide. It's a seriously resilient plant once you know what it wants.
And hey, when it gets too big, or you just want to share the wealth with friends, you can totally propagate it by division. Just do this in the spring or early summer. Carefully take the plant out of its pot, grab a clean, sharp knife, and physically divide that thick root ball into smaller sections. Just make sure each section has some healthy fronds and roots attached. Then simply replant them in that well-draining soil mix we made earlier. This is far faster and dramatically more reliable than trying to harvest and grow them from those toxic seeds.
To wrap up our entire care philosophy for today, I really want to leave you with this golden rule of thumb. It is generally better to err on the side of slightly underwatering than overwatering a foxtail fern. Seriously, keep those chunky asparagus roots in mind, give the plant bright indirect light, let it dry out a bit between drinks, and you will be rewarded with some incredibly spectacular architectural foliage.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer. We've uncovered the truth about this amazing faux fern. But, it kind of makes you wonder, with its fluffy plumes and hidden asparagus roots, what other imposter plants might be hiding right now in your very own indoor jungle? Keep learning, keep investigating your plants, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.